how you can stop beat yourself over money. This talk is going to be honest and personal, so let's get to it. Please help me welcome Jessi.
All right, audience participation time. Is everybody awake?
Yes.
All right, good. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to say out loud the first thing that comes to mind. How does spending money make you feel?
Good. Spend it on.
Good?
I don't like it. I don't like spending.
Okay. Well, Carolyn had the right answer. Oh, I thought everybody would have negative emotions around money. Because when I talk to people, I'm a financial planner. You all know this. And I hate money. I think money is evil. And the reason is, because typically when you talk to people about their money, they have a lot of negative emotions around it. And why is that? We've given money in our world a lot of control. Finances are the #1 reason for divorce in our country. Money causes countries to divide. It causes wars to break out. It causes people to do really awful things because they're motivated by money. And that's really bizarre to me because when you think about it, money is just a tool. It's not something that was ever meant to control. It's a way to the end, a means to the end, if you will. But money never was intended to be the end. So what is the end that we're trying to accomplish? I think it's happiness. Who doesn't want to be happier? Anybody? Anybody willing to say, I don't want to be happier? See, I think in life we make life really complex. And life is pretty simple. And one of the simple things about life is we just want to be happy. And happiness is not a hard thing to accomplish, but it takes a lot of effort. So you got money that can derail you from that happiness. So what I want to talk about today is how can money buy happiness? Well, that's not typically what we've heard, right? Money can't buy happiness. So hang out with me for a couple minutes here. Here's what I'm not going to talk about today. I'm not going to talk about the basic tenets of good money management. I know that maybe is what you were expecting based on my intro and my background. But the reality that I realized is you all know how to spend money wisely. We're all capable adults in this room that earn money. You know you should have an emergency reserve. You know you should not spend more money than you make. And you also know you should not put things on credit that you can't afford. But yet we all do these things. And I believe it's because we don't feel like we have control over our money and we've let money become too big. So what I do want to talk about today is how can we put money back in its place and really derive happiness from money. So I read this book. I didn't like this book when I first read it. I actually really hated it. The reason I didn't like it is because it's really honest. And the things it talks about in this book are really easy to do, but they're really hard to do at the same time. It's called Happy Money, and it's the science of happier spending. There's 5 principles in this book about how spending your money can lead to happiness if you spend it correctly. And the first principle in the book talks about buying experiences, not stuff. Oh, that's great. We've all heard that, right? We all know we should create adventures for our families and go on vacation and go to concerts or go to sporting events and not be so worried about stuff. But are we still all buying stuff? So it goes like this. I moved recently and got settled in my new space and took a look around and realized there was some new furniture that I wanted. The keyword being want. Nothing that I needed. Space is functional, it's comfortable. But I made a list, and then I started looking at this list and I thought, I can't in my right mind, my financial planning mind, buy everything on this list. So how do I prioritize it? How do I decide where I start? At the same time, I picked up this book again because it kept nagging at me. And in the book, it would encourage you to figure out what is going to give you the biggest happiness bang for your buck. So I looked at the list, and what floated to the top when I thought about happiness is a dining room table. It's maybe not what you were expecting me to say. We all maybe own dining room tables, but do we actually sit at them? Why do you want a dining room table, Jess? Oh, I like to cook, and I like to bake. Well, that's great. You need a kitchen and a stove to do that. Oh, well, I actually like to cook and bake for others. I really get a lot of pleasure out of creating a home-cooked meal for somebody and watching the comfort that that can bring and watching their faces. They enjoy something that I made. Hopefully it tastes good. Okay, but do you really sit at a dining room table? Don't you sit at the couch or the patio table like everybody else in America? Oh, I like sitting at the table because once the meal's done, which usually only takes about 10-15 minutes, then we have conversation. And because now you've asked me why 3 times, I would tell you that the number 1 value in my life is my relationships. And the dining room table, for me, represents relationships, and that's where relationships happen. You can bring somebody into your home and really get to know them if you sit around the table and share a meal together. So when I look at a dining room table, I don't see furniture, I see relationships. Therefore, I see happiness. The number 1 and most important thing in my life that I get happiness from. On the same list is a couch. Why do you want a new couch, Jess? Because my couch is brown and I don't like the color brown anymore. Why? That's it. That's all I can come up with. I want a new couch because I don't like the color brown. We only have so many resources, right? What would you spend money on if you were me? See, this isn't hard. It's a pretty simple concept, but it is difficult to do. It is difficult to stop yourself when you're spending money to say, where am I going to get the biggest happiness bang for my buck? If you want something easy to do, go work out with Chad. I'm going to give you something hard to do today. Here's what I want you to do. By Sunday night, and the reason I say by Sunday night is because if you don't do it by then, you're never going to do it. You're going to start Monday morning, and this speech is going to be long gone. Before Sunday evening, sit down and write out how you spend money. I don't care how much you spend. The dollar amount doesn't matter. We're not creating a budget here. How do you spend your money? Broad categories, granular categories, whatever helps. Look at the list then and organize it, prioritize it based on how much happiness you derive from that spending. Where are you getting the biggest happiness bang for your buck? Put that at the top and then prioritize it down. That's pretty easy to do. And then cut out the bottom. Stop spending money on things that aren't bringing happiness. Okay, this might be something that costs $5. This might be the daily lunch out habit. You recognize I'm not really getting a lot of happiness from it, and I can allocate those dollars towards something I get more happiness from. Because what I'm not talking about is making more money here, and I'm not talking about having more money. I'm talking about using what you have. How can I cut that out? Now, this might be something radical. This might be your house. I understand that. The thing is, you can do it. You can make these big, radical changes if you focus on the end result of being happy. So, take a look at your spending, organize it based on happiness, and then just do it, okay? I believe in you. Thanks.